But we as a continent have now defined ourselves.
In the news, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan visits TOS TV network, thrilled over network's achievements. Across Africa, boat overturned in Djibouti leaves 34 migrants dead. On the global scene, court fixes April 26 for another hearing of Sunyi's trial in Myanmar. In business, 3,922 megawatts, 11 plants idle as electricity generation decreases. And in sports, Enyimba faced a 3-0 defeat to Setif. Details shortly. This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Abigail Okwade, and this is TOS News 360. Former President of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, has expressed excitement and satisfaction over the state-of-the-art studio of TOS Television Network during his visit on Monday, 12th April. While expressing satisfaction over the current participation of youths in politics and governance, he showed optimism over the possibility of a youth-led government. Jonathan, however, called for a review of the nation's Electoral Act to regulate exorbitant spendings on political campaigns, as well as prevent voter inducement. The roundtable, which was organized by TOS Television Network, focused on empowering women and youths to participate more in politics and governance.
Compared to other African countries, we spend too much money playing politics. Probably we need also to review our laws. If you go, because I've observed election in quite a number of African states, so many African states, say a country like Tanzania, for example, and others that have gone there, you know, during campaign, a candidate does not need to print his name on a pen or a matchbox and give to somebody. They say that you are inducing the electorate. It's against their laws. But here, if somebody is contesting election, there will be trillion loads of rice with faces of people who are candidates and wrapper with their faces, and they are giving to people. That you are inducing the electorate. And ordinarily, our electoral laws are supposed to abhor that. You need some amount of money. But as the younger people penetrate the system, I think things will begin to change. That's if the young people are willing to make a difference. Frankly speaking, I think a number of young people are involved in politics now, unlike before. A number of young people are involved in politics. If you go to the local governments, especially in the northern part of the country, yes, you still see fairly elderly people. Elderly in the sense that they are above 50 as local government chairman and so on. But if you come to the southern part, you hardly see a local government chairman that is up to 45 years. The councillors are up to 20-something years, early 30s. If you go to the state assemblies, you cannot expect to see my age in the state assembly.
Chief Executive Officer of TOS TV Network also identified some of the challenges hindering both women and young people from participating in politics.
Paucity of funds is definitely one of the key issues. So is violence against women and girls. There are a lot of women who have come out to vie for political offices and they are met up with violence at all levels. So these political parties need to ensure that they create a safe environment for women to thrive in politics. There are foundations, international organizations who give women funds to be able to ensure that they are successful. But these funds never compare, juxtaposed to the funds that their male counterparts are using. So INEC needs to be very strict in ensuring that the cap on which you can use to campaign is strictly adhered to. When you find out that a political candidate has passed that budget, then you should be able to disqualify that person because there isn't a level playing field.
If we're going to address the orientation challenge as a whole, we're going to need to do a lot of work regarding social engineering, a lot of reorientation that needs to be done. We have ministries. The Ministry of Women Affairs, I believe, has been working really hard to ensure enhanced inclusion for women in the political system. We have, like in Kogi, for instance, all the at the local government level, all the vice chairmen are women. I think there are a number of states also following suit, and these are the kind of efforts that we need to sustain. A lot of advocacy needs to be done, and then we need to invest a lot in communication, behavioral change communication, reorientation, especially targeted at areas where it is especially difficult for women to aspire, to want to lead, or to want to be more actively engaged within their community.
Former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, has admonished the incumbent governor, Bello Matawalle, over purported defection. He made this admonition while speaking on Sunday at the Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress in Gusau during the distribution of 1.3 billion naira assorted grains he purchased for the APC supporters as Ramadan gift. Yari, who was represented by Senator Kabiru Murafa, noted that he would lose his seat if he leaves the People's Democratic Party, going by the Supreme Court's verdict that brought him to power in 2019. However, he said nobody had informed them, either verbally or in writing, that Matawalle would defect to APC. Members of the federal government Special Public Works Program are protesting over 3 months unpaid salaries. The SPW, which kicked off in January, is a program organized by the government for the purpose of providing jobs to mainly artisans to earn 20,000 naira monthly doing public works. 1,000 youths were employed from each of the 774 local government areas, making it 774,000 workers yet to receive payment. President Muhammadu Buhari directed the release of funds on March 20th to Federal Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Festus Keyamo, who in turn directed the National Directorate of Employment, the agency in control of the program, to start the process of payment. Keyamo assured the participants that they would soon receive a lot of payment through his Twitter handle. Some of the participants took to his Twitter to complain and vent their frustrations, as even after 20 days, their salaries have not been paid. Terrorist group Boko Haram has attacked Damasak community of Borno State on Saturday evening. TOS News gathered that the terrorists, who came in large numbers on motorcycles and gun trucks, did not only unleash ambush in an area around the UN hub and set it ablaze, but also attacked some NGO facilities, killed 4 people, including soldiers, and stole some vehicles. Members of ISWAP, a faction of the Boko Haram, reportedly carried out the attack in Damasak, a border community in Borno State. According to security source, the attack was mostly targeted at the UN and NGO facilities in Damasak. A police station and a hospital were also attacked. On March 1, the insurgents attacked a UN hub in Dikwa town of Borno, where they burnt several vehicles after dislodging a military base. The regional head of the International Organization for Migration, through its director Mohamed Abdikir, said the 34 migrants have died after their boat capsized off Djibouti. He said this on Monday through his Twitter handle, stating that this is the second tragedy over a month. The migrants were being transported by smugglers, Abdikir said. He recalled the March incident where 20 migrants from Djibouti drowned after smugglers threw dozens of people on an overcrowded boat of 200 people into the sea. He further stated in his tweet that apprehending and prosecuting human traffickers and smugglers who exploit the vulnerabilities of migrants must become a priority. TOS gathered that children were among the deceased and the survivors were taken care of by IOM and the authorities. This is your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. More stories across Africa after the break. Welcome back. Still in Africa, President of South Sudan, Salva Kiir, has dismissed the army chief and reassigned him as the country's ambassador to Belgium. General Johnson Juma Okot, who was the head of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces, was replaced with General Satinu Dengwol. The president did not give the reason for the change. The president promoted Akol Akol, the head of the Internal Security Wing of the NSS, to the rank of First Lieutenant General while maintaining his position. The authorities in Eritrea have released 36 prisoners who have been in detention because of their faith on bail. It was reported that 14 of the released prisoners have been detained for the past 4 years. The 22 others were arrested at the end of last month. The prisoners are all members of Christian, evangelical and Pentecostal denominations. Eritrea introduced a new law that forbids all churches except for the Orthodox, Catholic and Lutheran denominations in 2002. The Eritrean government has been releasing people detained as a result of their religious affiliation. In September of 2020, more than 20 prisoners who had been detained for 20 years were released. The authorities also released 28 members of the Jehovah's Witness group in December. According to religious freedom campaigners, many Christians are still being imprisoned and others arrested regularly because of their religious beliefs. The Eritrean government accuses Pentecostal and evangelical churches of being tools of foreign governments. Now on the foreign scene, a court in Myanmar has fixed April 26 for the next hearing on detained government leader Sang Suu Kyi. Yi has asked court on Monday to be allowed to meet her lawyers in person as she appeared at a hearing via video link to face charges brought by the military junta that could see her jailed for years. Yi, who won the Nobel Prize in 1991 for her efforts to establish democracy, Myanmar has been detained since the junta came in February. She has been charged with various offenses, including violation of a colonial-era Official Secret Act that could see her jailed for 14 years. She has also been charged with possessing two-way radios illegally and violating coronavirus protocols. She has also been accused by the ruling military council of bribery. However, her lawyer said the charges were trumped up and they dismissed the accusations of bribery as a joke. Now, to the foreign scene again, Ecuador has elected a conservative former bank, Lasso, as president over his populist opponent on Sunday. The 65-year-old won the runoff with 52.5% of the votes, declaring himself president-elect with more than 96% of ballots counted. His opponent, Andres Arauz, received 47.4% of the votes and conceded the race. Lasso won after his third attempt at running for office, as he defeated the 36-year-old leftist economist and prodigy of powerful ex-president Rafael Correa. It is a day in which all Ecuadorians decided their future. They have used their votes to express the need for change and the desire for better days, Lasso said in his victory speech. Lasso will deal with a poor economy and health crisis as the pandemic continues to affect countries across South America. From Brazil to Peru and Chile, hospitals are being pushed to the brink as infection rates increase, crimping hopes for an economic rebound. Lasso believes in tax cuts to boost the economy. He also sees it as a proponent of measures to reduce public debt. A new Israeli study by researchers at Tel Aviv University Clalit, the largest healthcare organization in Israel, which has not yet been peer-reviewed, said the South Africa coronavirus variant is able to evade some of the protection of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. The study examined nearly 400 people who are tested positive for COVID-19 after receiving at least one dose of the vaccine. They compared them to the same number of people who were infected and unvaccinated. The prevalence of the variant from South Africa among patients who received 2 doses of the vaccine were about 8 times higher than those who were unvaccinated, the researchers found. The data suggests the variant is better able to break through the protection of the vaccine than the original strain, the researchers wrote in the study. Professor Adi Stern, the research head, said just 1 case of the South African variant was expected, but 8 were found. It cannot be said to be less effective, but more research is needed to establish exactly how much, the research head said. The new data comes as public health officials grow concerned that highly contagious variants, which studies have shown can reduce the effectiveness of vaccines, could stall the world's progress on the pandemic. This is your Digital First Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. You are watching TOS News 360. Stories on business, entertainment, and sports after the break. Just stay tuned. We move our focus from business to business. The Nigerian Electricity System Operator in a data on Sunday revealed that the electricity generations in the country fell below 4,000 megawatts mark as 11 plants were idle, even as several others suffered declines in the output. According to the data, the power generation fell from 4,394 megawatts on Saturday to 3,922.2 megawatts as at 6 a.m. on Sunday. 11 of the power plants did not generate any megawatts of electricity on Sunday. 2,830.7 megawatts of the generation capacity could not be consumed as a result of gas constrictions, low load demand by the distribution companies, and water management. Still in business, the government and international oil firms, French Total, E&P, and China's CNOOC, on Monday have jointly signed 4 key agreements for commercialization of the proposed East African crude oil pipeline. The agreement is expected to bring an end to the protracted negotiations and setting on course Uganda's oil project for the next phases of development and production by earliest 2025. The high-level signing ceremony at State House Entebbe is expected to be attended by the newly installed Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan and the French oil giant Total SA Chief Executive Patrick. The two companies have ventured into Uganda after each acquiring 66.66% stake from the Anglo-Irish Tullow Oil PLC, which recently sold off its entire stake and is currently winding up its operations. The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria has said drivers should no longer pick up passengers from the front part of airport terminals. The aviation agency said this as a compliance to all laid-down protocols of the COVID-19 pandemic and also to ensure safety of the airport users. This is as the agency called for compliance with all laid-down protocols on COVID-19 to ensure the safety of all airport users. General Manager Corporate Affairs Henrietta Yakubu disclosed this in a statement that the Federal Airport Authority has said drivers can only come to the terminal frontage to drop off departing passenger. The statement also reads all drivers are to wait at the parking lot in their vehicles as arriving passengers walk down to the car parks to board their desired vehicles. Now on the entertainment scene, Kiernan Forbes, a South African superstar rapper popularly known as AKA, lost his fiancée at Cape Town Pepper Club Hotel where she was found dead in the early hours of Sunday. Reports shows nearly fell from one of the upper floor of the hotel connecting Loop and Bloom Street in the central business district of Cape Town. Kiernan Forbes got engaged nearly in February this year. The superstar rapper in March paid lobola, a traditional rite in South Africa, to the family of the bride and described her as the love of his life while announcing their engagement on social media. The report of her death was confirmed by a statement from the Forbes and Tembe families. Now in sports, Enyimba Football Club, known as the People's Elephants, faced their worst defeat at the CAF Confederation Cup on Sunday when they lost the match to Algerian counterpart ES Satif at 3-0 at the 8th May 1945 stadium. The People's Elephant defeated their Algerian counterpart about a week ago with a 2-1 goal at the Enyimba Stadium, but the ES Satif came back strong in the opposite fixtures with wonderful performances. The People's Elephants will face Al Ali Benghazi in their group game on April 21 at the Martyrs of February Stadium before welcoming the lead team on the table, Orlando Pirates, for their final group game on April 28. This is your digital first Pan-African News Network, TOS Television. You are watching TOS News 360. More stories and sports after the break. Just stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Still in sports, Sodiq Yusuf, Nigerian Ultimate Fighting Championship featherweight star, apologized to fans and supporters after facing his first UFC loss on Sunday to Arnold Allen, Britain, at the UFC Vegas 23 at the Apex Arena, Las Vegas. The loss is a first for Yusuf since he became part of the UFC franchise in 2018 and his second loss in the professional mixed martial arts in 13 fights. However, Sodiq promised his fans and supporters he will work harder to make them proud in his subsequent fights. Football star Robert Lewandowski and Bayern Munich's top scorer came back to training on Monday after he suffered a knee injury. He was allowed to train but was restricted by the club in their Champions League quarter-final with Paris Saint-Germain PSG. The 32-year-old player was nominated as FIFA's Best Male Player in 2020. He suffered an injured ligament in his right knee while on an international duty with Poland. And that is it on TOS News 360, your digital first Pan-African network. For more updates, visit our website at www.tostvnetwork.com to follow and like TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube to stay with us and enjoy more programs. I am Abigail Okwade. Thanks for watching.
But we as a continent have now